Zampo, this is Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program, and I'm Sunampen. Our top stories this week. His Majesty the King graced the Parliament's opening ceremony. Bhutan-Essilor partnership launched coinciding with Her Majesty the Royal Grandmother's birthday. And strict implementation of carrying capacity rule leaves truckers idle. His Majesty the King graced the opening ceremony of the second session of the Third Parliament on Thursday. Her Majesty the Gelson accompanied His Majesty.
Upon the arrival at the courtyard of the Gayong Sokhang, the Prime Minister, National Assembly Speaker, National Council Chairperson, Cabinet Ministers and Members of Parliament received His Majesty the King. On behalf of the parliamentarians, the Speaker thanked His Majesty the King for gracing the opening ceremony. The Speaker also congratulated His Majesty for receiving a special award of recognition from the United Nations Development Programme, honouring His Majesty's leadership in advancing human development and the well-being and happiness of the people of Bhutan. The Speaker thanked His Majesty for granting citizenship to 359 people earlier in March and also for granting Kidu to people affected by disasters across the country.
실랑가의 개합나 게젤레 텐데 최솔로 년카 중미 제대 수교 등로 묘왕아들은 모체추 투 닝제 체외 고래 주매 동체나 투면 삼절 제나미들로 주속의 혼래 이책이 까지가서 비용이 수준이라 나치라의 묘왕아들은 모체추기 투기 공제다 란나미비 까질레텐 주속의 드미술로 핀출리 겔진 tabrik 진종 백하나 고팁기 종달 베니다 텐출리로 대숭기 종달 베니 고급 나미들로 지속기 혼래 귀잡단 제배 가진 가소표이 세슈니라 대마체 묘왕아들은 보체 초기 우팁더 람튼 잠비 가진 레텐 ngachare gyakhabna gesargepo sorik tulak lobdei nale 중초기 종들 쇼테 당바데 레shum베 타큐 준숨비델로 ngati 지속기 카툴레 묘왕아들은 보체 초로 흰레라 까딘체 스슈네일라.
The Speaker also expressed gratitude to His Holiness the Jokembo and highlighted the Prime Minister's successful visit to Bangladesh recently. The second session of the Third Parliament will see the National Assembly table the Mines and Minerals Management Act of Bhutan, annual budget for the fiscal year 2019 and 2020, pay revision and the Anti-Corruption Commission's annual report, among others. Kilatem for BBS News.
Coinciding with Her Majesty the Royal Grandmother Kezang Choden Wangchu's birthday on Tuesday, the Bhutan-Essilor partnership was launched. The Health Ministry said it is to reduce poor vision in the country.
In her 89th birthday, Her Majesty presented eyeglasses to Bhutanese citizens as part of the ceremony. Through Her Majesty's efforts, Essilor International has pledged to donate about 400,000 pairs of glasses for Bhutanese in 2 years' time. The Health Ministry is currently conducting a school screening program. Eyeglasses will be distributed through hospitals.
We want to make Bhutan poor vision free in about 2 to 3 years' time, which means every individual of Bhutan will get their eyes tested, as well as everybody who needs a pair of glasses will be given a pair of glasses free. So this is being done in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and with the blessings of the Royal Palace. As of now, we have already supplied 10,000 spectacles, and which is basically for the school children.
Essilor International is a French-based international company that manufactures eyeglasses. Shoni Dama for BBS News.
Going by the National Statistics Bureau's Dzongkhag population projections, Thimphu alone will have 260,000 people in the next 3 decades. It also projects that the urban population will go up, leading to more crowded settlements, creating challenges to provide livable and affordable urban facilities. Therefore, there is an urgent need to build friendliest, safest, greenest, affordable and harmonious Thomdes in Bhutan. Today, urban areas in Bhutan are confronted with issues like limited scope of growth and expansion, shallow and open drains, unpleasant and unsafe footpaths, and primitive water supply distribution. Unsystematic ad hoc activities like digging and manholes along most of the core areas are also common. As shared by a senior researcher during the International Conference on Urban Development and Well-being, given the increasing demand on urban areas, the call for creating more livable Thomdes is vital.
For our case, it is the willed vision of His Majesty, whereby every city must be clean, secure, well organized, and beautiful. Beautiful in this sense, we understand as having enough green infrastructure, green space in different kind of Thomdes. So that simple definition should actually give us overarching vision to understand what the Bhutanese Thomdes should be.
He added, with increasing population, more issues are going to surface if not looked into.
First and foremost thing that we have recommended is at least have a formation of non-partisan, the independent committees, whereby they are committee members who not only have the experience and expertise in it, but genuinely believes in creating such kind of Thomdes. So that particular committee would be advisory committee to build up any structural plans or advise the coming up with the Thomdes in the country.
The other recommendation includes carrying out aerial survey and identifying nationwide sites suitable for Thomdes, saving wetlands. There is also a need for authorities and experts to work together in making Thomdes safer, green and rejuvenating, accessible and well administered. Sunampem for BBS News. Towards addressing the challenges brought about by urbanization, the Works and Human Settlement Ministry has drafted a national human settlement policy. According to an official from the ministry, urban planning and development is fairly new development in Bhutan, particularly with regard to legal instruments, institutional arrangements and administrative setup. This was presented at the Urban Planning and Wellbeing Conference recently.
According to Tashipenjo, the Chief of Urban Planning and Development Division of the Works and Human Settlement Ministry, the overarching policy will provide the Ministry with a legal and industrial framework in preparing any human settlement plans for urban settlement and rural areas. The policy, he however said, should be implemented through a strategy backed by act and legislation. This should further be implemented through its regulations and guidelines. Today, in the absence of a specific legislation, urban planning takes support of Local Government Act 2009 and the Land Act 2007. Other existing regulations related to human settlements include the Bhutan Building Rules 2002, Land Pooling Rules 2009, and the Rural Construction Rules 2013. The Bhutan National Urbanization Strategy 2008 also covers only the urban areas. Beside the draft National Human Settlement Policy, which is currently submitted to the Gross National Happiness Commission, the MOWHS is also drafting Special Planning Act and National Human Settlement Strategy to address the issues of urbanization. Every year, there is an increase of people living in the urban areas by 5%. This means increasing adverse impact, particularly on environment, cultural heritage, and environmental degradation. When more people move from the rural to urban areas, it will have increased pressure on resources, competing demand for land, housing shortage, and increased exposure to disaster risk. The official also highlighted unemployment as one of the issues because of urbanization. Today, approximately 270,000 people live in urban areas. Pema Singh, PBS News.
Rapid growth of construction sector in the country could lead to the negative impact on the economy. This is mainly due to the import expenses. Bhutan depends on import of almost all the construction materials, due to which huge amount of money goes outside.
Construction sector in Bhutan is fully dependent on materials from outside the country. Except for cement, almost all the construction materials are imported. Growing construction means increase in import. This directly affects the trade balance and economy as a whole. There is a huge credit flow in construction sector. Theoretically, credit flow in any sector is a positive indicator. However, this has become opposite in Bhutan, and it is attributed to huge import of construction materials.
If you multiply the huge amount of constructions going on and the import going on, that's a drain of money outside the country. So it does affect the trade balance, and so our economy that way doesn't do good. So we have a concern that because there is so much constructions going on, the real sector going on, and so much credit flow in this sector.
The growth in construction sector, especially with housing construction, has also not improved the social sector. The housing problem still exists and house rent remains constant. And if the present trend continues, there could be negative balance of trade in the economy.
The majority of current economy in a better shape or in a growth is due to the construction sector growth too, because the credit has flown there. But we are also concerned that the credit flow there has not benefited the local economy, has not benefited the internal economy, because it again goes as an import. So this is a very tricky sector. Therefore, it's also the other is due to the increase so much in the construction sector, it has not led to improving the living housing conditions of the people.
Over 80% of the country's total import is from India. To address this issue of trade deficit, the government is encouraging local manufacturing units. Komal Kharka, BBS News.
Bhutan's unemployment rate stands at 3.4% as per the Labour Force Survey report of 2018. This means nearly 10,500 people were without work during the reference period, actively seeking and available for work. The figure is an increase from 3.1% in 2017. The International Labour Organization defines unemployed as those aged 15 years and above without a job, seeking a job in the last 4 weeks prior to interview, and available for work if given the opportunity. The unemployment rate over the 5 years has remained below 4%. The highest unemployment rate is reported in 2018 and lowest in 2016 with 2.1%. The report states that unemployment rate for females is higher than males, and unemployment is more of an urban phenomenon with 71%, which is 4 times higher than that of the rural areas. On the other hand, employment rate over the 5 years has remained above 95%. The highest employment rate was observed in 2016 and lowest in 2018. The overall youth unemployment rate is estimated at 15.7%, which is an increase from 12.3% in 2017. The report claims that the difference in figure is due to a change in the sampling frame developed after the 2017 population and housing census of Bhutan. Youth unemployment covers those unemployed aged between 15 to 24 years. As per the report, Paro has the highest youth unemployment rate while Tsirang and Pemakatsal have the lowest. The report mentions that youth population over the years shows a declining trend. However, inactive youth population has increased over the years. These two reasons have led to rise in youth unemployment rate. The report cited not getting a job, lack of adequate qualification, and lack of experience as the major reasons for people being unemployed. NSB conducted the Labour Force Survey for the first time last year based on the decision of the 10th session of the Second Parliament. In the past, it was the Labour Ministry that used to publish the reports. Sunampem for BBS News. It has been found that people are illegally renting out their apartments and homes as tourist accommodations. According to the Tourism Council of Bhutan, such practices contradict with the high-value, low-volume tourism policy of the country. It is also affecting the businesses of licensed tourist hoteliers in the country.
Providing any accommodation informally is much cheaper for a tourist than going to certified hotels. This, TCB says, impacts promoting Bhutan as an exclusive high-end tourism destination. Moreover, it also adversely affects the licensed tourist hotels in the country by reducing its occupancy. Only 3-star and above rated hotels are certified by TCB for catering to tourists.
Legally and formally, no tourist should be staying in any other accommodations besides this. Other rule that supports our objection to this informal accommodation to tourists is as per the rule of trade, wherein it says all businesses in Bhutan should be operated with a valid license.
To address the issue, the Tourism Council of Bhutan recently held its second meeting with relevant stakeholders. As per the meeting's recommendations, the Council intends to formally write to the concerned platforms or social sites that offer informal accommodations.
For instance, Airbnb is one platform wherein this the informal accommodation get registered and the tourists can book accommodation in Bhutan through those platforms. And we are actually in the process of writing to Airbnb, basically saying that any properties that they want to register in their platform should have a certificate from TCB saying that this property is registered with TCB in Bhutan.
TCB has also been notifying the general public through notifications on their website or other platforms. Meanwhile, the Council is also looking at the classification of hotels in the country to curb such issues. The issue came to the notice of officials a few years ago following some informal complaints, but the Council started working on it only recently. TCB has discovered about 270 Bhutanese properties registered under an online marketplace which helps people rent out their properties or rooms to guests. This is Sonam Chodan for BBS News.
In Phinseling, boulder business has stopped and more than 300 trucks have come to a standstill. The Anti-Corruption Commission's recent notification has asked for strict enforcement of Road Safety and Transport Act 1999 on overloaded trucks carrying boulders to Bangladesh.
The Road Safety and Transport Act 1999 does not allow a vehicle to carry a load which is in excess of the manufacturer's specifications. ACC discovered elaborate and systematic bribery and kickback schemes across the Indian border to avoid being stopped and fined for overloaded consignments. Today, every vehicle carries boulders beyond their carrying capacity. Truckers say profit is much better after paying to the motor vehicle inspectors than merely carrying loads as per the carrying capacity.
Garidi te da zapemgi lochami garidi te darida nava tandapchi ewachin name sami karin chini me sishudula ta debe shugumi de te gari ta lochap te laluro lokdi te anu chabdanu sishudula ta phe da gari nijaja chi te dato te nadari lochap chap sara yela ta nama ta overload mabawachin da mabawachin da ro kepsara mindo sishudula 다양한 진나지 영화사보다 돌로벨 얘기다 야자바자치 도시들 어쨌다 다운이디지 야세 시도라 다토다 진다 토법에 갈래다 같이나 대업도 쓸다 토보도 세시도라
가리마 헨셉치나 로잡샤 텔레 슝기 tamatupe 텔레 가리디수게라 론게 토갈레뇨 텔레 론데수 데세갈루 tamasup 텔레 스탑 데수 페멘트 데수 잡마sup.
RSTA said the trucks can only move out if they offload their consignment and carry as per the carrying capacity. The law enforcement agencies have already started to apply these regulations strictly to every vehicle coming in and going out of the country. Exporters say the move will hamper the economy. This is Sonam Benjo for BBS News, Phinseling.
And around 20 Bhutanese truckers transporting aggregate to neighboring Assam has been stopped from travelling outside for carrying excess load by traffic police at border gate in Galifu. Gelifu started enforcing the carrying capacity rule since Monday following a notification from Anti-Corruption Commission.
The parking place in Gelifu is full and trucks lie idle.
dari hatomabe da injiminji da aristike lamlu da tidigere jogo se anzom yalema nawa thombe dulu tinga che dungildi da chagiri bombira langila da tan chutham bagdigibe da ya kedab doji beojin yenga chigi hemagi tender da mani lamlu shungi lamlu da tibe dulu da phale thomi tirudigi di gari lu makhuluni da gari da khuluchune gi zesoya lama la khacha mesu do
yalema shungi da devimitu da aristike lamlu da tigo si la bego si dalo tanga chigi la de se gaye godam telena gari de se te na devera parking na le jabe te da sirson thap masube yasi isi shunila ta ani di da shungi saitin di bela ngachilo ta ro gari gi ma company gi zozo gi dala de tenden be bani ipchi te joba jobara yalema te gajalo sentin bera te di chajuji namajin te ngaji khatul namsame te gadi chinime.
Officials checked documents to verify the carrying capacity. Officials said gross vehicle weight is not specified by the local authorities but by the manufacturer for safety reasons.
Nungorgi da truck de sugi gi japkhagi dala de da bomanism chi do da anim chira da dotem dem bago se de ro company da and sugi ni be ke mion su shuni bi la ta nga da chi judo me gbw de gross vehicle weight de kadem chi male rogi ani tem chi da ani de nga chi lalen thab do shuni bi la.
Some of the overloaded trucks were asked to get rid of excess load while some waited at the border gate hoping for solution. It all started earlier this month when it was found that several trucks carrying boulders to Bangladesh declared less than the actual amount to avoid taxes. Trucks carrying more than 30 metric tons declared only half on paper. A team of boulder exporters and officials from Bhutan Exporters Association had planned to visit Bangladesh earlier last week to resolve the issue, but it was cancelled. The General Secretary of Bhutan Exporters Associations, Sring Yishe, said the purpose of their visit was undermined after local exporters of Gelifu unofficially visited Bangladesh ahead of them. He said another official meeting could take place in the coming days. For Karma Ongdi in Sarbang, Chonidama for BBS News.
Researchers are hoping to get help from Global Positioning System or GPS trackers to better understand the movement patterns, lifestyle and habitat use of the white-bellied herons in the country. The Royal Society for Protection of Nature, together with the Ugyen Wangchu Institute for Conservation and Environmental Research, tagged 3 white-bellied herons in Wangdifoda with GPS. White-bellied heron is a critically endangered species with an estimated world population of less than 250. The current nest was located at Kisonachu along the Wangdi-Tsirang Highway by a team from RSPN and officials of the Department of Forests earlier in March during its annual population survey. With the incubation period of 30 to 33 days, the first chicks were expected to hatch in the first week of April. The 3 juveniles were approximately 40 to 45 days old when tagged last week.
It's quite difficult to capture, adults. It's always good to, capture the juveniles when they are when they are still in the nest. So after they fledge, it's quite difficult. So it's always easier and also not so stressful for the birds.
The 3 tagged juveniles have been named Sangye, Che and Gyudin, referring to the triple gem. With the tracking system installed on the juvenile birds, the team can now track their movements and gather essential data on these birds, ensuring that their species survives.
And GPS tagging is one of the most effective, and most commonly used nowadays for studying wildlife. And for white-bellied heron, because it's a critically endangered species, we have to be a bit careful about studying them. So through GPS tagging, we can actually understand their habitat, their behavior, and then remotely, without going into having to go into the field and studying.
RSPN first tagged 2 juvenile birds in 2016 at Burichu with the help of an expert from Czech Republic in the process of rescuing the 2 birds. White-bellied herons are one of Asia's rarest birds and remain at significant risk of extinction. Bhutan is among the only 3 countries in the world that hosts the endangered bird species. As per the nationwide white-bellied heron population survey of 2019, there are 25 white-bellied herons in the country today. Sunam Pem for BBS News. Well, that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us.